People are strange.
Strange.
Fucking strange.
Is that strange?
That is strange.
Strange.
That is strange.
Wow, that is strange. This is strange.
And welcome back to another episode of Strange Sauna. Flex, Trump is over in Saudi Arabia. All the news is saying that Trump has turned his back on Israel, okay? He's turned his back on Netanyahu. He's doing all these things. He's helping out Hamas. Hamas is helping out the United States by releasing prisoners. He's getting all these deals done with Israel's enemies. What do you think, dude?
Well, first, the highlight of my week is I bought a new hat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Looks
I got a
pleasant.
couple. I got a black hat, obviously, and a gray hat. So that's the highlight of my week. Yeah, I'm. This is playing out. The storyline's playing out better than the storyline for WrestleMania 41.
I know.
which just happened, and it was really bad. Like, it was one of the worst WrestleMania nights because the story just didn't go anywhere. So I think they're doing the right thing here. If this is they keep us on our toes.
Yeah.
Especially with Israel, and the fact that he's not supporting this war that they want to start, but you're still taking their money. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing is you have these like unfounded claims coming out from Megatron of all people, like on Twitter. It's getting millions of views and shares, and it's just basically saying Trump is done with Netanyahu. There's people from Israeli army radio saying that, he's turned his back on him. He's done with him and all this stuff. And I'm like, what? And then you have like certain articles coming out like this. Donald Trump to announce the U.S. Recognizes Palestinian state. Gulf diplomatic source claims. Right. So like you have these sources that are claiming stuff, but it's never really coming from Donald Trump himself. You have opinion articles being written in the New York Times saying this Israeli government is not our ally, right? You have certain things like this happening. So the Hamas says that it will free the U.S. Israeli hostage. So it did. It released the hostage, right? Right before Trump heads to the region. And you have Trump reshaping the Middle East with Israel's foes. So without Israel, he's going over there. He's doing all this work, right?
He didn't make Israel part of his tour or campaign, whatever he's doing over there,
right?
In the Middle East, which is just surprising.
He's done it before. He's done it before, and so that's what people were saying. He's like, don't worry. He's not the first time that he hasn't stopped by Israel and all this stuff. But here's like a list of things that this article kind of talks about that Trump has done that kind of seemingly spites Israel. Okay, so Trump has struck a truce with the Yemeni Houthis. So he struck up this deal with the Houthis, saying that the Houthis will not fire on U.S. ships. Yep. So Houthis declare Trump ceasefire a failure for Israel's Netanyahu. All this crazy stuff, right? So Trump brokered a hostage deal with Hamas, which we just talked about. He courted Qatar, lifted sanctions on Syria, praised Turkey's leader, and opened nuclear talks with Iran, all without Israel at the table. Okay, so everybody's like, well, why don't you have Netanyahu at your side like you do with Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Right?
And Elon's done. I know we were talking about it and we weren't too sure. But yeah, he apparently, I saw him being thanked. Trump thanked him. They were in some boardroom.
Oh.
He said, thank you for all your help. Because he was going to do like 6 months, 5 to 6 months. And he lasted like 97 days or, 88 days, maybe not 88 days, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it has something to do with like all this AI stuff that's happening in Saudi Arabia. Because I know over there, he's signing
because
books, right?
they've signed this deal for military, like arms, AI chips.
Yeah.
Like a $500 million a year deal or 500 million chips, which they're trying to take China and Taiwan out of it, right? Like if they don't have to rely on them,
right?
They're going to put their allegiance with somebody else, right?
Right.
Which is what any leader should do, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. I mean,
you got to look out for yourself.
it's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend type of thing.
Yes.
Who knows? But the way that I look at it is, we've had all these deals with Saudi Arabia, who knows, maybe Qatar, with oil. And since we're kind of getting out of this fiat currency, we have to kind of figure out how we're going to manage that relationship. I think we're going into that digital currency. And so instead of them being the resource of the oil, they might be the resource of the generator of the digital dollar, which is like all of these data structures, databases, all this stuff, right? So I have this article or this thread by Rod D. Martin on X. And he kind of goes over like all these deals that Trump did over in Qatar. And so I'm just thinking, like, how is this going to reshape the world economic, not forum, but like just landscape of things?
Yeah. The landscape of, I mean,
this is just one guy's like Twitter account. So I don't even know if this is all like sourced and legit, but it seemed like everybody was kind of sharing this and bookmarking it and whatnot. So breaking Trump's $1.2 trillion Qatar deal, the biggest deal in U.S. Gulf history. And so he goes on to say that Boeing is getting $96 billion. And this is like Boeing / GE.
Yeah.
But this is the largest aviation order ever, which equates to 150,000 plus American jobs annually, 1 million plus jobs, total impact, real paychecks, blah, 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 right? But as you know, or maybe you don't know, but Boeing is a large part of the defense contract system.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the DOD, Boeing, one and the same. Yes, Boeing does create airplanes for, just like normal travel.
For commercial use.
Right.
Yeah. But at the same time, that's what Air Force One is. I mean, we'll talk about it later, but Trump was gifted a plane and everyone's saying, is it his plane? Does it belong to the U.S. government? I have a couple videos that I shared with you we can get into later of people who don't like Trump and are just sort of breaking it down, being like, why are you taking this plane? But the thing is, it's because they are inking this deal to bring jobs here in manufacturing.
Right.
It's taken too long to retrofit or get the new plane.
Hillary has questions about it too. Look at her. No one gives someone a $400 million jet without expecting anything in return. Be curious.
Keep in mind, folks, when you go to the Middle East and the countries that he's in, they don't look at these as bribes. They look at it as gifts. This is how they gift people. That's how it is. Now, how we take it, I don't know. We can discuss that a little bit later on, but there's a lot of thing going on there with Trump's, oceanfront property and the golf course he's putting in.
Well, it's weird that
money he's made.
She would bring that up, like the $400 million jet, but what about the $100 million from Miriam Adelson? And it seemingly helped kind of shovel in a lot of these pro-Israel, anti-Semitic executive orders and all that stuff, right?
It goes both ways,
Right. So going back into this, we have a $8.5 billion McDermott energy deal.
Yeah, this is huge.
$97 billion Parsons infrastructure projects and $1 billion quantum computing investment. So major AI infrastructure going in over in Qatar.
Yeah.
And right here, dude, this is like, this guy's saying massive defense win, America leading again. So very neocon of him to say this, but $3 billion for Raytheon General Atomics deals. First international buyer of FS Lids anti-drone system. So I guess this is like the first international sales of this anti-drone tech, whatever. And then, aircraft exports and all this stuff, right? So the DOD, Boeing, Raytheon, all of this stuff. I mean, this is what Trump is all about, dude. He wants massive military. And that's just like what Republicans are good for. Like they claim, and that's what literally like a neocon is you're claiming you want small government, but you're boosting up the Department of Defense / military, and it's like
making the industrial complex even bigger.
right.
Like it's just bigger.
Right.
And the U.S. is the biggest superpower of the world. You know.
Yeah.
Like I said, up here in Canada, we don't have an army. So
well, and honestly, like I feel like if our dollar fails, we'll just start bombing people, right? Like we will become the world bully. Not that like we kind of aren't like that anyway. You know what I mean? Like we're kind of hired contractors. It seems like countries hire us to.
But the U.S. has used their dollar to bully countries.
Oh yeah,
and I think that's why the BRICS nations have come out and they've said, listen, we don't want the U.S. And it's strange that none of this is being brought up. When you have multiple countries as big as Russia and Brazil and I think India saying, listen, we want to have our money backed by gold or minerals. Now, Canada has no gold because Carney, our new prime minister, suggested years ago when he wasn't prime minister to sell her all our gold.
It's so funny when you say Carney, it just makes me think of like a wild carnival goer. You know what I mean? Like, he's a carny. He works at the carnival.
We're heading that way. So, but the fact that these countries are saying "F you" to the U.S. dollar because the U.S. dollar has been backed by the fiat and oil.
Right.
So that's how the U.S. has been able to bully people. When I say bully, guys, I don't mean U.S. citizens. Like, let's be honest here. Like governments and the people, there's not even a fine line. Like they do their shit and we want to just live our lives, but they have been bullying countries for a while. And that's why if a country doesn't want to use the US dollar or wants to go to gold, and there's Gaddafi, the Saddam, there's a lot of leaders that we told were bad. And the US went in there and they took these countries out and destabilize their government. And I think that's why a lot of U.S. military people come back with PTSD sometimes, is because they fought something that they felt was a lie to them. You know, like weapons of mass destruction. Let's not forget about that, right?
Well, not only that, but like the horrific shit that they see. I mean, their friends being blown apart.
Yes, and you think you're doing something. You think you're doing something right, and when you now pull back the curtain and you realize, oh, this is just to destabilize countries, their governments, put in a shadow government, use the fiat dollar, which is dead. So it has to, like Greg was saying, they have to reset all this. Mm-hmm. That's all this is. It's a reset.
It's a large reset, dude.
And getting new allies. So now you have UAE, Saudi Arabia, like massive allies, where they're not going to go to Taiwan or China and worry about these AI chips, right?
Yeah. Well, I think the new quote unquote new allies is kind of like this part of the rebranding. And I think it's been happening for a while where like, I feel like the pressure has been like with Israel, right? So there's a lot of evidence out there that Israel kind of will bribe or like do a lot to influence politicians. We'll just say that. Maybe bribe's a little harsh, you know, to some.
Blackmail.
Blackmail?
I mean, when you blackmail people,
right,
you can control them.
Right. And so like Mossad, all that stuff, right? You're talking about intelligence agencies, but like when it comes to the exposure of all of this is just, you can't deny it, dude. It's everywhere, right? You have like Thomas Massey going on Tucker Carlson saying that every Republican member of Congress in the United States has an APEC guy. Yep. You know, that's what the American-Israeli PAC, right?
So and that's why when they're saying like Trump is cutting ties, are you really?
Right.
I mean, to cut ties, you have to cut ties. You got to cut everything, right? Which is what we're talking about with them still taking the money.
Right. And
the
it's
money,
like
honey.
If Trump cuts ties, that doesn't mean that the entire world has not cut ties. So it's like, come on now. I feel like this is just a facade that they're trying to sell. It's a mirage right now. I feel like they do this kind of stuff to influence more support for Israel. You know what I mean? Same thing like you had that anti-Israel bill or the not anti-Israel. It was like what? Anti-Semitism bill for what? Non-governmental agencies and NGOs, right? And that didn't pass But like as
No.
we discussed on the last show, there was
Yeah.
already a bill that passed the House back in like 2023, and it was exact same wordings. It's just a different
exact
number.
same wording, just a different number.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like they do these. So it's like, why would they introduce the exact same bill that didn't pass before, didn't even go to vote this time, right when Trump is going over to the Middle East? And then you get this slew of all of these different random stories from these different random accounts on X saying Trump's turned his back on Netanyahu. He's working with the Hamas. He's doing all this stuff that we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And all it seems to look like is, why is Trump turning his back on Israel, or at least ignoring them, not including them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you get Kanye West coming out with his Heil Hitler song, right? I mean, like out of nowhere, it's like, really now? With all this pressure building up, and guess where it's being shared the most? X.
Yeah.
And so you have to wonder, why is Elon allowing this to be shared on X? And then you're getting videos of young women, young adults doing the salute, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we've seen Elon do it.
What salute, Greg? They're just throwing the heart out.
Right. They're throwing their heart out to you. My heart goes out.
You guys still believe that? Then
Right.
You know what? Unfollow me.
Well, and you're getting just like all over the world. Like I saw this right here. This is Kanye West's new track dedicated to Hitler unexpectedly became popular in Thailand. And these girls are literally like just throwing up the frickin' salute. And so what this is doing, when you think about it, like, what does this do? It's normalizing the words Heil Hitler. It's normalizing it. It's making it
the words, their agenda, their movements.
It's making it cool to say, like, it's trying to,
society is fucked. Like,
right.
we're brain dead.
But you can see what this does. Like, if you try to make Hitler cool, who does that benefit in the end?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you have the appropriate response, like, what kind of response do you think that this is going to generate? Like a massive pushback against it, right? Mm-hmm. And so I can see them using this for massive censorship laws. They're using this as an excuse to introduce censorship laws. So I think in a week or two, maybe a couple months, you're going to see a lot of ramp up from Congress saying, look what Elon is allowing to spread in social media.
X. Yeah. Yep.
Right? We need some anti-Semitism regulation because it's just getting too out of hand. I mean, Kanye West is a plant, dude. Like, I'm just going to say it. Like, he's there.
They all are. I don't think there's any genuine people, unless it's people like ourselves or people that we follow. Some people that we follow that have like small accounts and they've never been banned, but everybody's a plant. Everyone's a controlled opposition. It's just flood the system. And I was watching a video the other day that Steve Bannon was talking. There's a specific word he had for it. See if I can find it and I'll send it to you, where you throw out a lot of information because the news can only report like 4 or 5 things out of 10.
Yeah.
And by throwing out, because I'm wondering why they just bombarding us with stuff. We've talked about that. And it's really to flood something, and you're hoping, or they strategically are making it so that the media only will do talking points on a few things and not the other stuff. And it's just like, I was like, I mean, that's the main reason why I'm like, we can't keep up with shit.
Well, not only that, but they hide it with media in Hollywood and like TV shows, like SpaceX. SpaceX was doing a lot of things around the side, and then you have this Steve Carell show come out called SpaceX. It's like, what? And they do that with a lot of different things. So they do it to flood the search engines, so that way when you search for that specific thing that deals with either a conspiracy or some sort of like real life agenda. I heard this is a speculation that the real reason the movie Frozen was made is because people were typing in Frozen and Disney to hear about whether he froze his head. Remember, there was this rumor that Walt Disney. So
That's what they did, right? They actually put
Right.
out a movie to stop the search engine to look up stuff
Disney,
on
Frozen, Head Frozen.
Yeah.
Right. Perfect.
Or head or his whole body. I'm not sure what it was, but and it's like, I know it sounds far fetched to those that don't understand all this, but to me, it's not. I'm like, oh yeah, all right, I can see that.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to present this world as, you're free, you get all this information for free, but then you flood it with a lot of misinformation. Like, how do you know what's real and what's not?
You don't.
And then, so going back to this Kanye song, so I saw that Donut put this out, and I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense. Like, I always wonder about this stuff where he goes, if you think Kanye's song is catchy, it's because of earworm technologies.
Mm-hmm.
Fifth generation.
It's mind control.
Yeah. Fifth generation warfare via, I don't know what this is. HQZ.
Hertz.
Oh, is
That's
that Hertz? Okay. Hertz sound frequencies, mind control.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
So this operation was implemented with the song I'm Blue. Remember that? I'm blue. Da, boo, dee, ba.
Da, da, dee, da, 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 na, 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 yeah.
And voice to skull technologies is way more advanced now with people listening to wave frequency via cell phones and ear pods.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what? Like,
they changed the frequency of music from 440 or 4 something
to, like that, 432
a while ago. Yeah, because we as humans, we actually are like conduits for electricity. That's how humans are. And if they can change the frequency, that's why all these light bulbs that we're getting that are like internet light bulbs and stuff like that, and you always feel off, or your anxiety's up, is because it's not a filament light bulb, it's an incandescent, and it's the frequency.
Right. But I mean, even having that song be catchy is part of the plan, because it makes it stick in people's heads, and then it just spreads the popularity of the song, which spreads the normalization of the word with the words Heil Hitler, right?
Yep.
And you're getting people doing this salute all over the place. And I'm like, what is going on?
They look it up, they see a couple videos, and they think, oh, I'll do a video with my friends doing the same thing.
Right.
It's the salute challenge.
Yeah, dude. And it's with young people too. I'm noticing that because
young and dumb.
Well, and if you look at the TikTok ban, a major proponent of that was Israel, because young kids were talking crap about Israel, and they had an unfavorable view because there were videos being shared of what's going on over in Palestine, and like the bombings, the people dying and all this stuff. Right. Mm-hmm. And then now people are associating Israel with like being murderers and all that stuff. Right. So they're going, oh yeah, well, why not? Let's just Heil Hitler. And I'm like, what? No. Yeah. You guys, like, you're falling into this trap that it's clear to me, but I don't know.
They're very good at it. And we talked about that last week, where I feel the deep state, which is just a shadow government. Every country is not run by the people you think runs it. And I realized during COVID, right, it was like lockstep on how they did everything. And that's why I thought that Trump was like throwing a monkey wrench in and was like, oh, he's disrupting stuff. And maybe he still is. I'm praying to God that he still is. Like down the road, I'm like, maybe this all flips and I get my Nasara check. I don't know. But it's not looking that way, because that will give us freedom, and we'll never will have freedom when you keep dividing people and you just keep confusing people. That's all this is confusion. It's complete confusion that you're doing with people. PSYOP over PSYOP. Because then you don't know what's real.
Right.
I don't think we'll ever know it's real.
No. And the point is for you to feel like you're free, but it's a mirage. It will always be this perception of I can do whatever I want. Yes. But in the end, like, you will owe somebody something. You will not be free.
You're never free unless property tax is taken away. And I know DeSantis did a big speech about that I watched, saying, like, you buy a TV, you pay tax on it once. Why I wouldn't pay tax on it over and over again. So unless property tax is taken away, you don't have freedom. That's not your property. It never will be. You won't have freedom with income tax. right?
Right.
And you really don't have freedom. When I saw over the last 5 years how quickly they can just find loopholes or say they found loopholes to not, in Canada, we have the Charter of Rights, and the whole COVID thing was basically or superseded it, overrode it, because they said we found kind of loopholes and stuff. So you're never going to have freedom because these governments are just getting more power. They're not getting smaller, and they're getting more corrupt,
Right.
because the real people that are running the government, who we don't see, are still pulling the strings. They're just using different players. And Trump could be a player. Carney could be a player.
Right.
DeSantis.
Well, so what I don't understand is, like, why is Trump still alive if these people have as much power as everybody's thinking, unless, like, the deep state is just not powerful at all. But I refuse to believe that because of the nature of things, right?
The state of the world right now,
right.
in the last 5 years, and we talked about this last week, saying fucking rip the Band-Aid off. Like, stop trying to wake up people. We're kind of done with that. And I know we played a video a couple of weeks ago where they're like, what are you doing? It was Steve Bannon and some other guy who are they're Trump supporters, and they're like, you need to make arrests. You need to make your move. You need to do something.
Yeah.
Because it's just crushing us. It's just crushing us.
So, I mean, there is a glimmer of hope. I know I want to talk about Trump going over to Saudi Arabia. And there was a clip that's going viral from Trump's speech where he's like calling out neocons, calling out stopping bombing people, even though he just bombed Yemen, and he's paying giving Israel all of these bombs to continue to bomb Palestine. So I don't know, or the Gaza Strip, I should say. So this is a clip that I do want to play. It's about 2 minutes, but I think it's worthwhile because it's I kind of agree with what he's saying here. So let's check this out.
Before our eyes, a new generation of leaders is transcending the ancient conflicts of tired divisions of the past and forging a future where the Middle East is defined by commerce, not chaos, where it exports technology, not terrorism, and where people of different nations, religions, and creeds are building cities together, not bombing each other out of existence. We don't want that.
Good Trump. That's good.
I agree. I actually think.
Is he being genuine, though? That's the question, right?
I don't know yet. But
he's reading off of a
hoping.
telephone. Yes, so here we go.
And it's crucial for the wider world to note this great transformation has not come from Western interventionists or flying people in beautiful planes giving you lectures on how to live and how to govern your own affairs. No, the gleaming marvels of Riyadh and Abu Dhabi were not created by the so-called nation builders, neocons, or liberal nonprofits like those who spent trillions and trillions of dollars failing to develop Kabul, Baghdad, so many other cities. Instead, the birth of a modern Middle East has been brought by the people of the region themselves, the people that are right here, the people that have lived here all their lives, developing your own sovereign countries, pursuing your own unique visions and charting your own destinies in your own way. It's really incredible what you've done. In the end, the so-called nation builders wrecked far more nations than they built, and the interventionists were intervening in complex societies that they did not even understand themselves. They told you how to do it, but they had no idea how to do it themselves.
Okay, so there it is. So he keeps on calling them interventionalists, but I think it's interventionists or something. It's different, but the point is people
were calling out the logo in the background too.
Oh yeah,
they were saying there was 666, because it was like the CERN logo, the Google logo. Like all the logos
yeah, it is kind of like the Google logo.
And
yeah.
there's three of them. I listen. I mean, maybe it means nothing, but at the same time, hey, we're a conspiracy show, so there you go. He's saying good things that I agree with.
Wait, where's the other 6? I see like 1 6 here in the American flag and then the Saudi flag.
Well, it's 3 6s if you look at the one on the right, left, and on the platform, right? So that's a 6, and a 6. Okay. That's what people were saying, and I'm like, maybe they're looking too deep into it, but I just was like, I'll bring it up because we're a conspiracy show. That's what we do.
Yeah, dude.
Allegedly.
Yeah. I mean, I actually found something that goes along with this whole 666 thing. So right here, this was Donnie Darkened, and
he came out to that song that he always comes out to, America.
Proud to be American. So Donnie Darkened, this was back in, when was this? December 2021. He came out with this. He said 6,666 weeks between Adolf Hitler's birthday and the birth of Donald Trump's. The birth of Adolf Hitler and then Donald Trump's inauguration day. So kind of interesting there, but this whole gematria thing, like, yes, you can find coincidences like with any number, right? So that's where I'm just, I don't know, maybe.
Maybe. With the dates, I believe with the dates, maybe not the gematria, but like when we were talking about Diddy being from the day he was born to the day he was arrested, it's a very specific number.
33 weeks or some shit.
I really don't think the Diddy case is even going on. Like we don't for something as big as it is, there's no cameras in the courtroom. We're just being told things like it was with Ghislaine Maxwell. So that's my take on that, folks.
Well,
I don't know if it's even happening.
Since you brought it up, let me kind of like pivot here. We can go back to Saudi Arabia real quick, but James Comey got himself into a little bit of trouble. I don't know if you heard, but he tweeted out 8647.
I literally just saw this before we got on. Maybe his book sales are low or something, because his next tweet was about his book sales, and he turned all his comments off, so he can't talk. But
right. So this just says former FBI Director James Comey posted a photo of seashells arranged into the numbers 86 and 47 on his Instagram account today before shortly deleting the post. The immediately preceding post shows Comey lounging at the beach while pretending to read his own crime novel.
Mm-hmm.
But many are blasting Comey for issuing a not so thinly veiled threat at the sitting president, Donald Trump. Right. And so like you have Trump Jr. So 86 means to get rid of somebody, to assassinate somebody. Right. So we got 86, the 47th president. Right. Yeah. And that's what people are saying, like Donald Trump Jr. saying just James Comey casually calling for my dad to be murdered, all this stuff. Right. And then you have Comey came out and he kind of explained himself, and he said, I posted earlier a picture of some shells I saw today on the beach walk, which I assumed were a political message. So he just found these shells like that? What? I saw it today on the beach walk, which I assumed were a political message. I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. Oh, okay. No. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down. So you had other people, right? But 86 does also just mean let's remove him, right? So let's remove, but some people are like 86 means to kill him. So blah, blah, blah.
Either way, it wasn't something haphazard, just fucking like walking on the beach. Oh, look, 86, 47. That's great. Let me take a photo. It's very much Tom Hanks,
right?
Talking a code like he did with Nappy or Cappy or whatever his name is. Same thing.
Well, and it reminded me of like the 187 or something that Alex Soros posted with a bullet hole through it. It was like $187 bills, and then it was like a picture that he posted right after the assassination attempt of Trump. Mm-hmm. But this article opened up with something here, or I guess it went down further into the article, and it brought up something that I had forgotten about, and that is James Comey's daughter, Maureen Comey. And so this is saying, runs in the family, New York prosecutor Maureen Comey joined the prosecution against Diddy Combs. So she's on the prosecution against Sean Combs right now.
His wife?
No, his daughter.
His daughter. Sorry, yes. His daughter? Huh.
Yes. So the younger Comey has previously worked as the lead prosecutor on both the Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell cases, as well as that former Epstein cellmate, Nicholas Tartaglione, Tartaglione, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, it says right here, I highlighted this because I feel like this is worth mentioning. In 2019, when she was just 30 years old, Comey's daughter became one of the lead prosecutors in the Jeffrey Epstein case. One of the lead prosecutors, dude. So she's still kind of fresh. I mean, when you get out of law school, how old are you? I don't know. I mean, you're years into school, right?
Yeah, you could be in your late 20s or early 30s. It's like med school by the time you're done.
This is saying, and there's a spelling error, but like she became a U.S. attorney in the Southern District of New York in 2015. So only 4 years later, she was one of the lead prosecutors in one of the biggest cases. I mean, it's the most biggest case ever, right? Or at least it would have been.
Or yeah. But that's why I don't think the court case is going on. Like, you don't even see media outside the courtroom trying to get the lawyers, the defense lawyers to talk or nothing. Like, there's nothing. This is a massive, folks, you have to understand, like, this is all about the children. This is the only reason why I got into this years ago with Trump, was I'm like, when I found out what's going on with kids and women in the trafficking, and there's no media coverage at all outside of it at all. There's nothing.
Right.
You just have someone say, oh, you know, there's a couple people I follow saying this is what happened today. And I'm like, bullshit. How do I know?
Yeah.
You know, it's a sketch of Diddy with gray hair and he looks like his face is all withered and then he's just like withering away. It's like same with Ghislaine. We didn't see it. I don't think this is happening. I think he's either been taken out or, you know, he's living on some continent that we don't know about. Because again,
you don't think this is the real Diddy?
I don't know, man.
No, this is a fake photo. Grok says it's fake. Okay. There's no cameras allowed in the courtroom. So that's what it's.
Yeah. But there's no cameras or media scrum outside the courtroom. You're not seeing them trying to, not Diddy wouldn't be coming through that way, but the lawyers would, the defense lawyers, maybe witnesses, maybe just to get a glimpse of something.
So, I mean, this is just, to me, that was a big deal. I'm like, okay, in 2019, she's only 30 years old and she becomes the lead prosecutor in the Jeffrey Epstein case. And then he's found dead months later, right? 2 years later, she became one of the 3 lead prosecutors in the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell.
Again.
Right?
Yep.
And then before becoming a U.S. attorney, Comey clerked for the U.S. District Court Chief Judge Loretta Preska of the SDNY, who notably oversaw a long-running defamation case filed by Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre against Maxwell.
Who's dead now?
Right.
Is deceased or unalived. Sorry.
But it's like, what's the odds? Like, Comey's daughter was serving as a clerk for the district judge who was going on this Epstein thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's quite the fast track. I'm just like, damn.
Right. And then this is that Nicholas Tartaglione guy. He was the former NYPD who was convicted of killing 4 men in 2016. He was initially sharing a cell with Jeffrey Epstein. And then there was an emergency and they found Jeffrey Epstein unconscious. And this Tartaglione guy said that he was not trying to kill him, but he was trying to help him and all this stuff. Right.
Sure.
And they actually found like a cell phone in the cell. So Nicholas had this cell phone that who was he communicating with? That was never disclosed. Right.
Yeah.
Like, oh, someone obviously gave him a cell phone, tell him to kill Jeffrey.
I don't know why things are classified. Nothing about JFK should be classified. Not to the public. The people that vote for these politicians is why is anything classified in Jeffrey? Why is it classified with 9/11? I saw a video the other day where this guy made a good point saying like it shouldn't be classified. And you know, on any of this. So what are you hiding? Like, why is it like, oh, you know, we want to, no, you don't need to protect people. You know, if you really are working for the people that are us, because you're supposed to be civil servants, nothing should be classified.
Well, that tells me that other countries are implicated or it's in a big intelligence thing. And intelligence is more important than the people of the country. That's the bottom line. And some would say that intelligence, you know, keeps everybody safe.
No.
But I'm like, it's a two-edged sword, right?
People need to know the truth about a lot of this stuff. They need to know the truth about Epstein. They need to know the truth about 9/11, JFK still, You know,
Right.
You have to start with those first. Maybe the moon landing. That's an easy one first before you. I think if that's ever exposed, that's just an easy way to say, hey, man, they lied to us. What else have you lied to us about? Right. But,
yeah, exactly. So continuing on, Trump going over to Saudi Arabia. All right. There was this crazy video of him coming in, and all these women are doing this like
whipping their hair around. Ooh.
Yeah, look at this. Here, I'll turn this down, but like everybody's waving flags and stuff, and then all these women or girls are just flipping their hair around. I'm like, what is this?
I mean,
maybe it's
weird
like a
custom. I don't know.
yeah, right. I don't know. I mean, I thought that was interesting. But it's one of those things. He had what was this? An epic view of Air Force One, and you have F-15s or fighter jets welcoming the president, right? Donald Trump.
Yeah.
The last time this happened was in Ronald
Reagan.
Reagan.
Military
Escort?
jet escort. He got this have camels. Those are the greatest camels that I've never seen before. Like,
the biggest humps on those camels.
that's it.
Geez, those humps are so big on that camel.
Got himself a plane, got himself some oceanfront property for his golf course.
Numerous buildings had the American flag projected on it. So just kind of welcoming him.
You know?
But yeah, you also just, there's some interesting things that happened over there too. And this was kind of going viral. I don't know about viral, but it's one of those conspiracy things. So ask yourself 2 questions. Why are foreign military personnel saluting Trump? And why is he returning?
I thought about that.
Right?
Yes.
So as he walks, or as these soldiers are walking by, they're saluting Trump, and he's like,
yeah.
So here, I'm just going to mute this here.
I was thinking that as well.
Right? So he's shaking hands, salute, he's saluting, right? I feel like Trump just salutes just to salute. He's like, oh, you're a soldier, salute you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know. Maybe this is just a custom thing. I don't know if this is normal.
It could be.
Right?
It could be. You know, it's a little conspiracy there. Like the one I sent you about him, people thinking they try to poison him.
Right. Yeah. So let's get into that one right now, because that one kind of.
So what's interesting is whoever he was meeting, the leader, got a water poured for him. And then Trump got water handed to him, and Trump literally looks at the water, doesn't drink it, looking over at the guy's drinking his. He's not drinking his. And then he puts it on a table behind him.
Okay.
You know, and I was just like, oh, shit.
Let's see here. Let's mute it. So he's getting his water poured, and
so his is poured, and Trump is handed to him. He's drinking. Trump is holding it. He looks down at it. Look, boop. He's looking down. He's like,
this is like the smallest cup of water too. It's like, what is this? A little
and he puts it on the table behind him.
It's like a plastic or a paper cup.
Still hasn't drank it. Here it is.
I mean, that's literally, for everybody just listening to this on audio, it's like a ketchup container that you get at like a restaurant that you pump ketchup into. That's what
it's
he
like
got
the
for
little
water.
cup that you get to wash your mouth out at the dentist. It's a tiny Dixie cup.
Yeah. Look at that.
So they handed him the water, and the other guy, the leader, was poured the water. So Trump literally just kind of looks down at it and goes, huh. And then as they're talking, and they're separated by quite a bit of distance.
You know what? I bet you it's not water. I bet you it might. Well, I don't know. Is it alcohol? I don't know if they drink over there.
It was just a fun conspiracy because he kind of looked at it
because Trump doesn't drink. So maybe he's just like, I don't, you know.
Well, he doesn't drink because he's an android. So
that's true.
Give that one away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Elon invented him.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it. That's why Elon's following him around, making sure his code project is up to date.
Those crazy AI robots that are coming out.
Oh, shit, here. Yeah, I still think that this hair whipping might be
it's a
robots.
little creepy. It kind of reminds me of The Ring, the girl from The Ring,
Right.
that comes climbing out of the TV set.
Yeah, it's very creepy. You know, I'm like,
They're
why-
beautiful women,
Yeah.
beautiful hair. Like obviously they're using the right shampoo and conditioner.
yeah, but you're gonna break your neck.
Yeah. Greg,
Ow.
can you do it? If you didn't gel your hair, could you fling it? I want to see what your hair looks like without gelled one day. I don't know.
Boy, I
How
don't
long
know.
is that? Could you fling that?
I don't know if I could. It just turns into a big Jerry curl. I actually have kind of curly hair, so it's weird.
Really?
It's funny.
All right.
So let's get into kind of some AI stuff, because part of the visit over there, you have, Elon Musk changed his name to Gorklon Rust. If anybody knows what this means, like
What?
occult symbolism, like what, I mean, it still has the Saturn symbolism of the guy. It's a smiley face with a line through it. So
Rust.
it's still Saturn.
I mean,
I just don't know what he's trying to do. But
like before, I used to think before they were trolling the libs, but now I feel they're trolling us, like everybody.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Right. So Neuralink is partnering with United Arab Emirates and Cleveland Clinic. So it says we're launching our first clinical trial in the Middle East at Cleveland Clinic, Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
Right, in partnership with the Department of Health, Abu Dhabi. Okay, so you have Neuralink coming to the Middle East. You have a bunch of this AI infrastructure deal that Donald Trump just kind of signed, right? Lots of jobs, lots of AI infrastructure happening over there. And you had Elon Musk meeting with the leaders in, I believe, Saudi Arabia. And he was talking about
See, and I didn't know he went over there. I didn't know that until
dude.
you showed me a clip. And I'm like, oh, he's there too.
Yeah, he showed up,
Like,
started
why?
shaking everybody's hands, and he's like, "Hey, come on, guys!" You know, like he's there selling his product, and he's telling
How
everybody.
tall is he, man? He looks massive over Trump. Trump's 6'3".
Right? Yeah, he is a tall man. But you think about Elon and what he does for the Department of Defense. He is the number one contractor of the Department of Defense, right?
Yeah.
So he's there to sell shit.
Yeah, I was reading a few articles about the real reason why Elon was with Doge was to go in there and erase a lot of his contracts,
Ooh.
protect some of it, erase some of it. Like, you know, when you like, if you have to think outside the box, which we do here, I'm like, interesting. You know, I was just like, you have that kind of power, and you can go in there.
Yeah, I don't know how he would get access to do that. That would be interesting. I'd like to see some evidence of that. But
yeah, I saw a couple things on it, which I'll look it up and send it to you, and we can chat about that. Being like, I'm just trying to figure out his role. Like, why did you bring him in for 5-6 months, and he basically only stayed for 100 days? And there was a video of him at this table, and Trump was thanking him, saying, you need to go back to your company and get things going again. And it's just like, but did you really save any money? Because you just kind of blew it somewhere else.
Well, they're spending it all on Department of Defense. And that's like one of this budget things that I wanted to get into is
which Elon has contracts with.
Yes. Right. So it's kind of like
he's double dipping.
Right. It's a conflict of interest, right? So
slightly.
You have this House reconciliation bill, and Donald Trump has touted this as one big, beautiful bill, right? And
beautiful bill.
One thing I noticed is it will add $3.3 trillion to the debt through 2034. So 3.3, there's that magic number again, 33.
Fuck. It's always there.
I didn't really want to get into this. I wanted to get into the hidden clauses in this. So this is the House. Let me see if I can actually just open up this link instead. Oh, God. There we go. Yeah. So it says we're doing this House budget bill. It would put a 10-year pause on state AI regulation. So it would not allow states to regulate AI for 10 years.
That's a long time.
Tell me about it. Right?
Like
And-
1 year would be pretty long, but 10 is.
Right. So here's the deal. It says, as part of the budget reconciliation process described by President Donald Trump as, quote, a big, beautiful bill, unquote, that contains many of his and Republicans' legislative priorities, the House Energy and Commerce Committee has included language in its section that would impose a 10-year state AI moratorium. So per the bill text released late Sunday night and marked up on Tuesday afternoon by the committee, this says, quote, no state or political subdivision thereof may enforce any law or regulation regulating artificial intelligence models, artificial intelligence systems, or automated decision systems during the 10-year period beginning, unquote. Right? And it says this ban will allow AI companies to ignore consumer privacy protections, let deepfakes spread, and allow companies to profile and deceive consumers using AI. This is a representative talking, right? So this is a Democrat, Illinois Democrat talking about this. So you can kind of see what they're trying to do here. They're making this anti-AI, pro-AI regulation a Democrat talking point, and they're trying to say free AI, no regulation on AI, a Republican talking point. So they always try to pit it in two different sides. So you're going to have a Democrat versus AI versus a Republican. But this is where, you know, the logic mind starts going, well, yeah, we shouldn't just have AI roaming around without any regulation, right?
No, because then you get yourself in trouble with how they have, there's no regulation with the internet, with social media, with Section 230, which is, you know, are you a platform or are you a journalist? You know what I mean? Like,
but you can see this is how they slowly get people to switch sides.
Yeah.
And this is what happened with the Republican Party, because everybody back in the Bush era hated Republicans. When I was growing up, I was going in high school, college. Everybody was like, dude, Republicans are pieces of shit. And then slowly it turns, you know, with Trump comes in. Now it's cool to be Republican. It's like, blah, blah, yeah, dude. And then
they take turns.
Yes.
You know, they do take turns. And when I say they're both corrupt as fucking, they don't do anything for you, has the quality of life gotten better through your lifetime? No. You know, have things gotten cheaper? No. Is there more safety?
I will say big screen TVs have gotten cheaper. Way cheaper.
That's it. But that's it. You know what I mean? But the quality of life hasn't gotten better. So it doesn't matter if the liberals here in Canada got on the conservatives. I've been alive for 49 years, and I've seen Canada slowly just desecrate. Same with the U.S. as well. Right. And
large cities and all that stuff. Yeah.
And you have Republicans in for a bit, then you have the Democrats in for a bit, and they just take sides, pretend they're fighting about stuff, but they really are on the same side with everything. Right. You know, because there is no change.
Yeah, and honestly, it does. It's like this yin and the yang. It's the dark and the light. It is very Freemasonic when you think about it.
Yeah.
You have to have evil and good exist, because if you don't, you won't appreciate the good.
Yeah.
All right. You have to have this little slight. It's the yin and the yang, where you have that slight dot of evil exist within the good, and a slight dot of good exist within the evil to fight it back. And it's this constant struggle.
Goalposts keep being moved where you feel like we're going to be saved. Things are going to get better. And I'm like, it hasn't.
Right.
It won't. But if you keep dangling the carrot, you'll feel that way. And then you stay numb and dumb, and you feel like, you know, I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait till the next right person comes in, which right now is Trump. You know, for us, we don't have that in Canada. We have Carney.
But here's the deal, though, is like when back in 2009, it was Obama coming in, right? And everybody trusted him to make America great and to like end the wars, do all this good stuff, hope and change. And so when you have all this trust in the president, you tend not to look under the rug at what they're doing.
No.
Right.
And everyone looked at it as the first black president.
Mhm.
Everyone looked at it as how eloquent he could speak.
Right.
That there was time for change. And when he won his second term, he had 3 or 4 million less votes. So that means a lot of people kind of were like, nah, that first 4 years, you didn't do much. But being the first black president, same with the first female president, if that ever happens, that's a voting point. To me, that's not a voting point. The policies are.
Well, and the point that I was trying to make is that they can get their agenda done without much pushback when they have a popular president.
Yes.
Right. And so you have to have you have these ups and downs. You had George Bush, completely unpopular. And then right after that, you had a total popular president, Obama. And then you had Donald Trump. He was kind of unpopular. Then you had Biden come in, even more unpopular. Now Donald Trump, way popular, right? So it's like you have to go through these slumps and to bring in the hero. And that's what people are looking for. They're looking for a savior, a hero. And it's Donald Trump this time. And he's going to fix our economy. He's going to do all this stuff. Yeah. That's why he's allowed to be alive, people. It's not like he's like he miraculously
it's
turned.
Not like he pulled a matrix and just leaned back and dodged that bullet.
Right. And people who believe that, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's honestly, it's part of this movie. Be careful, Greg,
because they might unfollow you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a little too late for that, but I mean, it's just one of those things where if you're watching a movie and that happens, you go, that would never happen in real life. It's just like that. It would never happen in real life. You would never have this agenda unfold the way it did when the kid came in. And I don't even really want to get into this, but like, it was clearly a setup that didn't work, and it was meant not to work. It was meant to have the shooter killed on sight, so that way no one asks questions, right? It's an easy cleanup.
Other than him not having whatever on his ear, I look at it as you try to assassinate a president. It was never talked about. It hasn't been investigated. It was just swept under the rug. Swept under the rug. Let's move on. Yeah. That tells me right there that that was a false flag done by the other side, the side that, we didn't want it to be, the Republican side. But again, they're both the same. So because they haven't talked about it at all.
Well, so that's another thing that I'm thinking is that when you have this rug pull, when Donald Trump pulls the rug, because now I'm leaning on this side of he might actually go and do this. You have all this media setting up right now that I think is more just like it's kind of fake the way it is right now because there's no valid sources coming out. But Donald Trump making deals with the Hamas, Donald Trump going over to Qatar, like millions and trillions of dollar deals going on over there. And Israel is not the greatest fan, right? Donald Trump refusing to go to war for Israel over Iran, right? And it's like one of these things where Trump seems to be playing both sides of the game. And so it could go either way. I mean, the heavy history of Donald Trump makes me think that he would lean towards siding with Israel. But if this is one of those big rug pull moments, I can see them coming out and saying that Israel hired that assassination attempt and just using that to turn all of MAGA against Israel. It would be quick and easy. They could do it, even if it wasn't true. Fuck, they could make it true.
It just has to make the news cycle, and that's it.
It just has to go viral on X. That's all it has to do, and then people would believe it. And one thing, and I do want to end this show on this. Unless, did you have another video on Trump in the Middle East that you wanted me to play?
I just had one where, and I don't want people to think we're shitting on Trump here, but this video really shits on him.
Okay.
And it's whether if you want to play it or not, Greg. It's just sort of like there's a lot more to this, and there's a lot that Trump's fortune and his status is growing and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I keep saying he's getting this property that's out and I've seen quite a few videos talk about it. So it's not just people that don't like Trump. They're like, hey, like how is America first when you're lining your own pockets with stuff?
Okay.
So
Yeah, this comes from Sawyer Hackett, everybody. I don't know who this is, but he might be completely anti-Trump. He might just be down the middle. I don't know.
Yeah.
So let me unmute this here. All right, here we go.
Donald Trump is on a straight-up corruption tour of the Middle East. Give me 90 seconds to explain how Trump's trip to the Middle East makes Hunter Biden look like Mother Teresa. You probably saw this week that Trump plans to accept a $400 million luxury jumbo jet from the Qatari royal family that he plans to keep after he leaves office. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. That massive gift comes as Donald Trump is traveling to the Middle East this week to focus on business deals for the U.S., deals that just happen to align with his personal business. In addition to giving him a plane, the government of Qatar plans to give Trump their blessing on a $5.5 billion business deal to build a new beachside Trump golf course in Doha. Just a couple of weeks ago, the United Arab Emirates announced that they would use the Trump family's cryptocurrency stablecoin to facilitate a $2 billion business deal, putting millions in Trump's pocket. And the co-founder of Trump's crypto business, Zach Witkoff, is the son of Steve Witkoff, Trump's White House envoy to the Middle East. The UAE also gave the Trump Organization its blessing to build a $1 billion Trump hotel in Dubai. In Saudi Arabia, the Trump Organization has 6 pending real estate deals with Saudi-backed real estate firms. The Trump Organization is also an official business partner of the Saudi-backed company Live Golf. Last month, Live Golf hosted a tournament at Trump's golf resort in Florida.
That's right.
And Trump personally used the Oval Office to broker a meeting and potentially a merger between Live Golf and the PGA Tour. Let's not forget that Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE invested $3 billion into Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner's private equity fund.
Oh, boy.
And Kushner is a key advisor to Trump on his trip to the Middle East.
Heavy Israeli right there, too.
Yeah.
Heavily involved with Israel.
While Trump is telling Americans that they have to cut back on dolls for their kids, he's using the presidency to notch personal business deals and collecting luxury planes as kickbacks. Share this video to piss off.
Okay. So, yeah, piss off your MAGA uncle. So this guy is definitely anti-Trump, so he has a bias.
Yeah, and any videos that I've seen, they brought up the same thing. You know, it's the connections. You just follow the money, connect the dots. Now, like I was saying earlier, over in the Middle East, they give gifts. Gifts aren't always used or thought of as bribes. So with the plane, they're saying after it's done, it's going to be in Trump's library, like where they host, I think Ronald Reagan's plane is there and stuff like that. But there's other things too, where it's like you just follow the money,
Right. Yeah.
You know, son-in-laws, you know, follow the money and stuff like that. Where we do that with other people that we try to expose, and then when we do it on Trump, because it's there, you can find it. It comes out of his mouth sometimes. People just choose not to listen to it, and it's just like, you know,
Right, dude. Yeah.
little.
So it's one of those things where Donald Trump is a rich billionaire who has not been murdered. Okay. He knows how to play the game. He's been in New York real estate. I mean, you got to be dirty to be in New York real estate, dude.
Yeah, you have to be. You have to have.
Like his protege. He was the protege of Roy Cohn, who was one of the dirtiest lawyers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So
one of the
you just
dirtiest
watch
player
the
in the
documentary,
game.
right?
Yeah.
I think that the occult side that Donald Trump might be tapping into might even be coming from Melania and her side, coming from Russia. I don't know if there's some occultism that she brought over and she's kind of teaching him. And what is it? Something Blavatsky, Elena Blavatsky. I forget her name off the top of my head, but she's the one who's talking about the new age starting in 2025, the age of Aquarius. Melania Trump, when Trump won in 2016, Melania Trump came out to the age of Aquarius as her song when she's walking out to the stage. So it's like, why did she use that? Right? She wears the Saturn hat. She has all of this black and white symbolism, very kind of quiet to herself. So I'm wondering if she is the occult influence on Trump. I don't know.
Could be. Could be.
But one of those things, I do want to end the show on this because this is something that just started trending today, and it has to do with Ian Carroll. And
by the way, it's funny you're bringing this up. What did Candace name her son there, Greg?
Yes. So let's take a step back here. So Ian Carroll is filling in for Candace Owens, who is on maternity leave because she just had a baby.
Well, this guy just came out of nowhere. Like, really?
Right. Ian Carroll.
Like,
yeah. But so
what the fuck?
So Candace Owens, because I listened to a show of Ian Carroll, and the first thing he says is Candace is at home with her new baby Roman. And I was like, wait, her baby, what? And I looked it up, and Candace Owens named her baby boy Roman. And we had just been talking about all of this revival of Rome, you know, the dire wolves coming back. You have Elon Musk, the Caecius Maximus, all dressed in Rome. Trump going to the Caesar Dome, looking over it like a Caesar. And it's like, now Candace Owens is in this mix, and you're going, oh, of course. Right? So it's like, do you trust anybody? I don't know. It's up to you. But
anybody has a platform that big, they're either shills, they're getting paid from one side or the other. They could be controlled opposition, you know, and controlled opposition has to be there because that's how you mislead people too. Hopeism, a lot we talked about moving of the goalposts.
Yeah.
And this Ian Carroll guy, you know, I know he was on Rogan and Candace interviewed him and he's just now on the show. It's like, I don't trust him. He gives me Mr. Beast vibes a little bit. Just saying.
I mean, he says all the right things, and he was a former teacher, right? But here's the deal. Like, with Candace Owens worked for Daily Wire. Daily Wire, heavily Jewish, right? Over there. And then all of a sudden, she just kind of gets fired, starts turning on Jews and starts saying all this stuff. Like, so maybe she was planted to start this divide in this conversation about everybody needs to look into Israel and hate Israel, right?
Definitely.
Just saying.
It would not be in front of us on TV or in social media if they didn't want us to know.
Right.
They're very, very strategic on how they do these things.
Yep.
You know, and that's why I think if Trump is trying to break us free from the cabal, I feel the cabal and the deep state is just too big of a machine because they've been doing this for years. They're masters of this.
Yep.
Well, let's have them break up and then she'll talk shit about Israel. And then we can have this agenda out. It's the same thing that Steve Bannon was saying about flooding the news cycle with a lot of stuff. There's a specific name for it. I'll see if I can find it. I'll send it to you. Where you throw out 10 things and they can only cover the 5 and the other 5 gets swept under the rug.
Right.
You know, it's the same thing.
Yeah. And, you know, it's one of those things where it's just, I think it's the oldest thing in the book, dude. Like when it comes to how do you influence people? And you use that through Hollywood, the media. And that's why Trump didn't get rid of the mainstream media. He didn't get rid of the Smith-Mundt Act. And people can argue that the Smith-Mundt Act doesn't really do anything, but some can argue
2030, like that wasn't looked into at all. Section 2030,
right?
You know,
so I mean, there is an argument to keep 2030 because then it would be even more regulation and more restrictions on social media. So I don't know, but nonetheless, this guy, Ian Carroll, was caught wearing the red bracelet, right? And so everybody's like, "What? Why is he wearing the red bracelet?" Because that's a symbol of Kabbalah, right? So you wear the Kabbalah on the left wrist. He's wearing it on the right. That's the first thing that I noticed. And so people are going, you're wearing a red Kabbalah bracelet just as Tucker Carlson did. There's a big club and you ain't in it, right?
Yeah, man.
And then so Ian responds. And this is what he says. This is how he got the bracelets. He says, "I love the internet so much. When my girlfriend's dad gave us both bracelets 2 weeks ago, and the one he got me was red, I joked to her that we would see posts like this one. She said, I didn't actually have to wear it. And I said, no, I'm definitely wearing it. Right. And then
how convenient.
He has this. He says, and yes, he got us both bracelets. Touch grass, guys. Take a deep breath. The Illuminati aren't the only people who have access to red string. And you see it has this string and then it's red and it has this eyeball in the middle, right?
It's like the evil eye. Like
this, right? Yeah. And people are noticing and they're like, oh, yeah, it's like the eyeball at the Illuminati, right?
The eye of Horus.
But what else do you notice about this picture? Like, look at the time. 2 2.
I can't. 2 2 2 2 3.
Yeah, so 3 2 2. And people were going, oh, and that was the first thing I saw. I was like, oh, there's a 3.
I didn't even pick up on that. Ay, ay, ay.
Right? So skull and bones. And I'm going, oh, okay, so that's a mirror. So think mirror 322. And someone else posted on here and they were like, oh, yeah, like if you think about a mirror. So see what I mean about mirror? He's wearing it on his right hand, but it shows up as the left hand when you're looking at it to you, right? It's like, oh, that's on my left side. So left side is, right?
He's a creepy looking fucker too, man. Sorry.
Yeah. And then so this was Sir Escanor who mentioned the mirror thing. And then people found this bracelet on Amazon. And it's called the Evil Eye Bracelet Nazar Kabbalah Red Protection.
Now, Greeks, I'm Greek and I have an evil eye actually. And it's just supposed to ward off evil.
Right.
You know, I remember my mom wearing it, my aunt, my cousins and stuff like that. Not with a red string though, but
right.
This is a little different. But yeah, like I say, folks, like right here, that photo was taken specifically with that time, with that bracelet. Well, on that wrist.
And he does, yes, 322 specifically at that time, and he does have it on the left hand here. Right?
Yeah.
Because this is his right hand where he has the other bracelet.
They're very slick at what they do, you know.
It's just very
and it's like what are you gonna do about it? Like honestly, what are we gonna do about it?
Right.
What? I'm asking straight up, what are we gonna do about it? We know the guys are doing stuff. I know people go, what does it mean to us? And like I said, I don't care they do this shit. Just don't mess with kids, right? Don't mess with taxes. Right. But I am still for sale. So if you want to give me a red bracelet and send me a check, I'll wear it for sure. You know, I'll sell my soul. But it's just like
part of me, I don't know if people do this to start a conspiracy, right? To start a trend or start something on Twitter, even though it's to their own detriment. Mm-hmm. Like that's what people say that Donald Trump does. He takes all these slings and arrows and he does all these things that are bad. So that way they get attention and then you can turn them around and to dissolve them, right? It's kind of like attacking something and then, I don't know. But
I would agree with that to some point, but it's been 5-6 years now where I'm just kind of like, it's just too much. Like before I'd be like, because they know people like us will sit there and take it apart. Like you find the post, we're going to chat about it.
And that was my thing. That was my thing. Yeah. I was like, Ian Carroll knows about this.
Yes.
He knows about the red string, about the bracelet. I've watched many of his shows before he got big.
Creepy dude, man. I don't like soulless eyes. Sorry.
Those eyes.
That's why I wear sunglasses so you guys can't see my eyes because they could be soulless too.
Yeah, I mean, he's got like that crazy eye. I would think my grandma had something like that too, but
looks like he's wearing a mask. Like I'm just kind of like, it's like plaster face. I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying.
Greg is like, oh my God, he's going off the edge here.
No, I'm just saying, like,
I'm going off the edge.
He's aware of this stuff. So why would he do that, especially on Candace Owens' show?
Yes.
You know, it's like
and then answer it because he responded to it.
But
saying the Illuminati's not the only people that have red string. Like it's kind of like you're answering, you're alluding to it, you're stoking the fire. All that did was stoke the fire a bit more.
Right, but it is the mixture of now it's on his left, like this picture here. He has the bracelet on his left wrist, and the time is 322. Like you got that 322 in there, even though it's mirrored. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's a little suspicious to me, but I'm not gonna.
Anything we bring on this show is not suspicious.
Yeah.
It's real. It's real. I'm telling you guys.
Real. They're doing it for a reason. It's just like, is he doing it to like poke fun at everybody and be like, yeah, dig on this, everybody?
Because even when they troll us, and this even goes with Trump, it's because they're telling us what they want to tell us to keep us all, guessing, to keep us all divided, to keep us all numb and dumb.
But I think it's an easy way to show how divided and how, like, if you are that into conspiracies, because I'm reading some of these posts and they're like, oh God, there it is. Totally nailed it. He's done. Can never trust this guy again. I'm like, yeah, you don't realize how ignorant you are. You have to you have to expose and massage this thing out. It's not a black and white. Nothing here is ever black and white.
No.
So you have to be like, why did he do this? He knows what it means. He's sending a message or he's doing something. Like, this isn't just what you think it is, right? So I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's all just Occam's razor, simplest solution. He's a freaking Kabbalah guy. So
Well, I'm just waiting for his photo on some journal magazine or some Rolling Stones, and he's got the
one eye
covered, you know. It's like, oh, balloons, there we go.
Yeah. I don't know. So I think that he has some good content. He shares good information. I don't see a reason to think that he is all Kabbalah, but you never know, dude. Whatever. Just like you said, even if he was, what are you going to do about it? Just not listen to him, not watch his show because he's wearing a red string? What does that do to you? I don't know.
Or not really standing up to the people we need to stand up to.
Exactly. It's like we shouldn't be worried about Ian Carroll. Let's worry about
that's like
right?
Let's worry about
world leaders influencing our
economics
politicians.
and taxes and the other corruption, which is legitimate. You can see it, especially when you look at your paycheck and you're like, what?
Exactly, dude. Exactamundo. Okay. Well, hey, good show, Flex. Final words. What say you?
Well, I think this was the last day, so Trump's coming back.
Okay.
And I'm waiting to see what news he has, because he says, I have some great news about Canada. It's not about trade.
Whoa.
And he said it last week.
Okay.
So I'm kind of waiting. That's what I'm waiting on to see what that is. Because Carney went in there and just sat there like a little kid, just didn't do anything. So sorry, liberals.
I'm going to say it right now, Flex. Welcome to the United States. It's coming.
Yes.
Alberta.
Hey, I'm cool with that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think I made the right move moving out here, because we could be one of the provinces that might want to break away.
Right.
Because we're rich in coal and our forestry. So the last three Western provinces, you know. So I'm just waiting to see what this news was with Trump. So
you know what I bet it is?
Now that he's come back.
I really do think that it has to do with a pipeline that's being built, and there's going to be a partnership through Canada where Canada gets a split of some of this oil. But I think that there's going to be a pipeline built from Alaska through Canada into the United States, and Canada's going to have a piece of that pie. Yeah.
And which is great for us, obviously. And I'm just sitting back being like, are you guys second guessing yourself with your vote for Carney? Because it's only getting worse, which we knew, but he didn't stand up to Trump.
Right.
So instead of elbows up, he was on his knees.
Yep. Hey, it happens. It happens. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with Canada. But, we'll see how this relationship between Netanyahu and Trump kind of either dissolves or rekindles itself. So we'll see. I don't know. Yeah. I'm curious. But this could be the step.
I'm going to keep up with some of the Diddy stuff. But again, I don't even think that's even really going on. I think it's been played out already or whatever. So it's interesting to me. I don't lose sleep over any of it anymore. Yeah. I just kind of go.
I don't think anything's going to get disclosed from the Diddy trial. I'll just put it that way. I think we would need a government investigation, because that's one trial with very limited scope. We need the Epstein case to kind of open up. I don't think that's ever going to happen, because
unless this is a conduit to the Epstein case,
maybe.
And then all of a sudden. But as I said earlier today, they keep everything classified from us, which they shouldn't.
Right.
It's maybe military stuff. Maybe I get it. The intelligence agencies, but the intelligence agencies are intelligent for some reason, because they're duping us. They're duping us.
Yeah.
We've been
full of
duped.
Tricks. All right, everybody. Well, hey, good show, Flex. If you like this content, remember to hit the like button, share. If you're on Rumble, hit the like button and share. We're going to be posting more on Rumble, so get that account growing, okay? And then over on audio, leave a comment, leave a rating, leave a review. I read them all, and we'll respond to your comments too here in the chat. So let us know what you like, what you don't like. We want to hear it all. All right, Flex, until next week, you stay safe up there in Canada. Everybody else, stay steamy.